Yeah, I made simple live. Do you know how to say hi in the Philippines? Neither do I. No, I know. It's mabuhay. Why? Why do I say mabuhay? Well, I just got back from the Philippines. I went to the Philippines. Why did you go to the Philippines, Steve? What's that have to do with AI made simple? Well, let me tell you a story. So, there's this little thing called COVID that happened, and my business went through a traumatic phase. I lost about half of my clients, and I lost about three-quarters of my revenue. And yet, I had promises to keep to my existing clients. I had a team that I had lost some of my employees actually, and yet I had a team that was still there to help take care of uh, our existing clients and keep those promises. But as people left during that time, as my castle continued to crumble, um, we kept offloading responsibilities as people left. We offloaded, we divided those up, and then those dedicated remaining team, they stepped up and took on additional roles. And in an emergency, that's what you have to do. You have to, folks have to take on and get past the hump. But that's a temporary solution. It's not a long-term solution. And if you don't think about it correctly, you'll burn out your team, and and then you'll continue to, I guess, suffer unless you make changes. And so my problem was I had lost a bunch of revenue. And so the typical solutions that um, were in, were to be considered is like, all right, this person left, so I need to go and hire a replacement. But here's the problem: I didn't have the budget to hire and pay the the salaries that were necessary to replace the folks that had left. Um, and then also, I um, I I just had to be I had to like step up and be creative and be thinking about what am I going to do to make it through this rough patch. And so I had to start thinking different. And the default solution is to hire someone local. But the topic of today's um, the title of today's show is the exploded diagram. And when I started to look at if you back up and you take, all right, here's my job descriptions. I've had to offload and pile on other job descriptions, additional tasks and stuff. Then these dedicated people are willing to be above and beyond what their core strengths are, but they're doing a bunch of tasks that they're not really qualified for, or it's not really fulfilling or gives them energy. And so you can see over time that degrades their performance and then their morale. And then eventually that impacts your customer service as well. So what I started to do was, all right, take these job descriptions, and you've seen a catalog of car parts, whatever. There's a component, generally a component like a carburetor or water pump or something, and it'll show you the schematic of it as a whole, and then it shows you an exploded diagram of it, of all the pieces that it takes to make that whole component a whole piece. It's a bunch of pieces combined, assembled, and then it becomes um, an important part of the engine. And so your job descriptions are the way I started to look at them is the same way. If you exploded them and looked at all the things going on, you have your email management, data entry, scheduling, research, report, strategy, planning, client calls, data calls. You have all these things that are going on. And if you were to do the default solution of hiring a person, then you're expecting that person to come in and adopt um, all of these the components that make up that job description. And so they're not a specialist necessarily; they become a generalist. And then it's just expensive. I was looking at some data. Let me make sure. Yes. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you this. This is really interesting. So looking at some data on what does it cost to replace somebody, and my gut is it takes about 6 months of salary to replace someone, because you have to do you get your job description, you have to do your research, you have to look for folks, you have to recruit them, you have to interview them, you have to onboard them, you have to train them. And in about 6 months, they probably start to gain traction and start pulling weight. But I did a search here and I just like, what's the data really? And the data is interesting. Entry level, frontline folks, it's about 40 to 50% of the salary, that annual salary. The variance depends heavily on how specialized the role is, but replacing a single employee typically costs between 50 and 200% of their annual salary, not their monthly, their annual. And so when you look at this, it's like, it's to lose someone and replace them is extremely expensive. And so, when you think of your business as small business, how many misses can you afford when you're hiring someone that's going to need this investment? A small business, what are you doing? You're having to make your best guess, bring on the right person. Hopefully you train them well, and then your productivity will increase. But the odds are against you. Oftentimes, you may not find the best fit the first time. You may have to kiss a couple of frogs, right? And so when you look at this data, the turnover cost flow, lost productivity, onboarding and training, recruitment, separation, it's significant. And so as a small business, my whole point here is that you have to get good at this. And so you need to think about it different, not the default way, because the default way has a whole bunch of, ditches that you've got to stay out of. And so I had to confront this. I had to figure out a way to, where are we? I need to stop sharing here. I had to figure out a way to avoid this, because my runway was short and I needed to get this solved. And so my solution was I had to start researching. And so to avoid, the high price of poor hiring, expecting my valuable team members who were loyal to carry an additional burden, this was not sustainable. And so that's where today's topic is: the exploded diagram, surviving the hiring trap, because it is trap. It's trapful. So, by the way, you see my cap right here. Spent some time with my team in the Philippines, by the way, and this was one of my little gifts. So representing. So today, when disaster strikes during COVID, I lost, like I was saying, and it was a dark time for sure. I question a lot of things. And so, like I was saying, my team took on the additional burden. I was very appreciative, but I had to hurry and figure out. And so this is funny here. This is exactly how I felt, as far as I'm sitting in this chair, and the danger that would be painful, would it not? And so the penalty for a mishire, a bad hire, is extremely expensive. And so if you keep trying to solve your new problems with your old hiring mindset, you're going to run out of resources before you run out of work. Work's nice, but you got to have the gas. You got to have the gas in the engine. So the old way was to look at a job description as a whole. I need someone to come in and be, if you think of a marketing, I need someone to come in and be a marketing person. But if you explode out that marketing title, what does that mean? I need someone that knows how to use AI. I need someone that knows how to write copy. I need someone that knows how to do social media. I need someone that knows how. They need to be all of these things. And the truth is, every person you have in a role, they're great at a majority of it, but there's some aspects, there are some components in that job description that wouldn't it be nice to offload to someone who's better at it because they'll do it because they're loyal, they'll do it because they have to, but it's not. It could be delegated to someone that would love it and excel at it, and it would free your high value employee to focus and spend time on where they do excel, where they do flourish. So my mindset had to change. And when I figured out how to explode that job description and all the components and then start to organize them, I started looking at a job description differently and the folks that I could appreciate to do that. And that's where it's like we took all these things that you don't need someone in house. You don't need someone that can do all of the things and be in front of a client or whatever. You could delegate these items. And so that's where the Philippines comes in. And that's where, that's why I went to the Philippines, was to spend time with my team that I worked with for 4 years and never had shaken their hand. In some cases, we even gave hugs. But the thing was this team, and I have a dedicated project manager in South Africa. This team literally, I feel, helped me revolutionize and help me survive a dark time and come out even better on the other side. And so I had to change my thinking on a default model. You're an expensive local generalist is going to be good at some things, but fall short in many others. And so, your risk, this penalty up to 6 months of salary loss, and it's a high drain on your other team that are picking up, filling the holes. Maybe they're frustrated. They thought they could offload it. And then this person, you got to start over. That's just discouraging. And so when you think of the incredible value of a dedicated person that's in a remote situation, be it the Philippines or other, you can start to have an expectation that you can get top talent, that you can restore energy in your team and build a culture, and it be a long-term solution. Many of these folks that I worked with for 4 years, and I see them as a valuable part of ROI, and they are, and they contribute. They just contribute amazing energy and amazing value, and my clients just adore them to the point we'll get to next that they want one as well. So when I think what we're doing, we're looking at this opportunity as a force multiplier. We spend a lot of time talking about Notebook LM, which now actually has changed names, by the way, to Gemini Notebook. But this is a force multiplier. This is another aspect. If you were to, in that exploded job description, some of those items can be picked up and delegated to an agent or an AI solution as well. But these are force multipliers. That's how you can extend the capabilities of your existing loyal, dedicated, high-value team. It's how you can bring in specialists, and so they become force multipliers and valuable, and revolutionize your business when, especially at a time when, in my case, resources were short. If you're getting value from these calls, these live streams, like and subscribe. This is a notebook. Right? What's the deal? You've got a lot at risk in the hiring, and if you can look at it in a different way, sit down and spend some time, use AI and go, here's all the things we're doing. Help me get this job description. Help me identify things that I can offload to AI. Okay. And I can offload to virtual assistant. Help me have a right perspective. That's where you can do this. You can help support your local team's core strengths. You can bring in some great folks that energize and totally revolutionize your business and improve and extend your runway, especially in a time like I went through. But here we are on the other side. I'm back from the Philippines. Look at my eyes, and we're getting over the jet lag. It was a great time. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got that team. I appreciate the team. So, if this is something you've been thinking about, be sure to reach out to me. I can help you think through about a virtual assistant potential, how to bring them on, how to build a culture. I'm an expert at it. I've been doing it for years, and can be a good resource for you. All right. I'm Steve ROI Brown. This is AI Made Simple. Go get them. And that's a wrap.